Back now on Newsmax Prime, and when it comes to investing, do you think you can make well-informed decisions using today's news, opinions, and analysis on your own? Well, according to our returning guest, it's not only possible, but he says you can have the very same results you get from those fancy software programs and online professionals, and he's written a new book to tell you how. We're pleased to be rejoined by Matt Towery from Insider Advantage. He's at Newsmax, New York. He's also the author of the new book, Newsvesting. Use news and opinions to grow your personal wealth. Matt, it's good to have you back on Newsmax Prime. Now, you are a pollster by trade. You rely heavily on data and opinions. But what many people don't know is that you run your family's investment partnership. So I guess this book was a natural for you to sit down and write.
Well, it was, and you know, JD, before I ever was a pollster, I went to law school, and I was also, of course, an elected official, but I also was a debate coach and a debater, and one of the people I helped prepare was a guy named Newt Gingrich in 1980. So I took what I learned in law school and what I learned as a debater, both in high school and then the collegiate level, and I put those things together and said, look, how do you distill the real news story so that you can follow what will really impact investments? And this sort of gives a procedure to do it, and then I did it in real life and followed my own program for about a year, and it worked pretty well.
Well, I know you outlined it in great specificity in your book, but if you could kind of simplify it for us, what is that outline, that process you go through to collect the data, evaluate things in the news, and then make your investments?
Well, you know, Warren Buffett says you have to read all the time, and he's right. One of the things that happens on Wall Street, though, is they wait until the fog is rolled in or until the lights are out to say, oh, there's a problem. If you start collecting and looking at news on a day-by-day basis and basically journal it down, the major stories you see, not necessarily just in the financial sections, but all through the news, over a period of time, you'll see that there'll be 4 or 5 things that will keep popping up constantly. You put those down on your sheets as you go through, or on your computer or your Excel sheet, and as you keep going through, you then begin to weigh them. Are they positive towards this area or negative? It doesn't matter. Oil is a great example. We had an oil glut long before anyone was writing about it, but no one was taking advantage of the opportunity to start investing in that and buying oil cheaper until it dropped, or they didn't know to get out. But if you had been following it, you would have been out of those oil stocks early, and you would have been back in when we were down at $40 a share, such as with ConocoPhillips. So you can really do it. Anyone can if they just take a measured approach to it.
30 seconds left. You know, a lot of financial analysts are saying relying on news reports is a risky way to create a portfolio. Why don't you buy their arguments?
Well, I would buy their arguments, but they look at technicals and the stock market and the like, and I would never say that you jump on news stories. But my experience goes that if news governs our life now, and Newsmax and other organizations like that, we rely on it day to day. If you're going to rely on it on everything else you do in life, you've got to believe it has a big impact on what you invest in. And I proved it in every single case. We saw great results when we just followed the news story and invested in the right direction.
And Matt Towery making news with his new book, Newsvesting. Use news and opinions to grow your personal wealth. Matt, thanks again for your time here on Newsmax Prime. This reminder, Newsvesting is available at Amazon.com as well as other online booksellers and at your local bookstore. Now, it's time to take a look at what's on your mind via social media. First, it's Susan, who says she's considering changing party affiliation. She writes, officially, I'm signed up to vote as a Democrat. However, after living through the Obama administration and watching the Democrats, especially Hillary, blame everything on Republicans, I'm changing to Republican. Everyone I talk to loves Trump. A year ago, I would not even think about voting for him, but he has my vote now. And next, we hear from a viewer named Von Terra. Again, her subject, Donald Trump. She writes, Trump is the right choice. Those that disagree do not recognize wisdom, a rare high level of common sense, courage, and the ability to be diplomatic when they see it. Enough words. Trump is the man. Okay, Von Terra, thanks for your comments. If you have some comments for us, send them to me at newsmaxtv.com/comments. That'll do it for this Friday night. Be looking for you again Monday. Stay brave, stay free, stay tuned.